Welcome back to the workshop. I haven't been in the workshop as much recently. It's cold outside. I went out to the Midwest to visit family. And I've been doing some other projects. I did actually launch a new video channel. It's connected through my Richo Woodworking channel. It's called Richo Hobby and Art, and I put a couple videos on that, and I will continue doing that. Not really related to this, but it does feature things like my pocket knife collection and some of my other collectibles that don't really belong on this channel, so I made another channel. So getting back to Puzzle Box 5, which I had started working on when I was back in New Bern, and I'm now working on here. It's still a little slow going. I have the carcass made, and I had shown pictures of that in previous videos, but working on the mechanisms of how this is going to be a puzzle box is what I'm doing now. So I'm playing around a little bit with making some circles, or making maybe gears or sprockets, because the goal of this, or the name of this puzzle box, it's Puzzle Box 5, but it's going to be called the clock. And it will have a clock, an actual functioning clock that you just buy at any hobby big box store on the front. But I'm trying to think that maybe I would like to have some clock mechanism or something different than what I've done before to do the inside. I wanted to use the machinist chest that I acquired last year, some of the tap and die for that, maybe some of the metal pieces. And so it's all experimental. And that's the great thing about home woodworking, is a lot of times you can just experiment with stuff, and maybe there's a YouTube video on it, maybe not, or just try some stuff out. So that's what I did. I did start with, these are both poplar scrap. Because when I moved, I didn't bring a lot of wood with me, so a lot of my scrap thrown in a dumpster, or a construction dumpster at a convenience center back in North Carolina, so I don't have much scrap left. But I do have some pieces, and so I got this actually might be the Tiger Maple. I might have done this out of Tiger Maple, which, if you remember from the Passions Collide video, I got a bunch from a friend of mine. So I went ahead and did these. So the way I did it, basically I started a little piece of wood. I think this is the same thing. Piece of this, cut it square off of this. Well, first of all, before I did that, I used a stencil thing with circles. This was sort of an idea just to figure out what size I would need. And then I used a little compass from the machinist art chest that I keep inside. Found the middle using a ruler to find the middle, stuck this on, and basically made a circle. And so I did that, made the circle, took that, put it into this clamp here, and using first a coping saw, don't have all my materials out. Got to be ready when you're ready to do a video. So anyway, where it is? There it is. Using a coping saw and then a file, I worked that square piece of wood down to a circle. Now, this is not the greatest circle in the world, so maybe this is not the way to do it, or there's a way to hone that down. And there's some pictures here that show that process when I did it a couple weeks ago. So anyway, using some of these simple tools, I went ahead and made the circles. Now, from the circles, the idea is to then use some of I've got brass stock. So this is brass rods that you can buy at the hobby or the big box stores, the hardware big box stores. They also sell, because there is such an interest in crafts. I mean, there's always been interest in crafts, but it seems like there's more of an interest now because since COVID, a lot of people have found new ways to do crafts and sell their crafts and all that stuff. So these are poplar dowels that I got from one of the big box stores. And it's a nice way. Before I would buy these at hobby big box stores. But now if I can get these at my other big box store, Lowe's. Okay, there I said it. I bought these at Lowe's. But I'm sure Home Depot has them, or who knows. Anyway, these are 1/4 inch and these are 3/8 inch. And that saves you from having to buy individual at the hobby store. So the idea of drilling a hole through here and putting this on and maybe having it as a circular gear. So that's one idea. And it takes a lot of time, so I'm not sure that is the best solution for this. Something else that I thought about, and I'm going to try now, is using, there we go, this is a drill set that I got years ago, many years ago, so I'm sure there are better sets out there now, but one of those things that if you have something that works for you, you use it, and that's what I've done. So anyway, you get this drill set out, and you probably are aware that you have these circular, the drills for the circular for doors, for making the doorknob hole, or for drilling to an entertainment center to get your cords through, or whatever you do. And they come in different sizes. This is both in millimeters and inches. Goes from 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, 1.75 to 2 and 1/8 inch. So I'm going to try that out. I don't have a lot of wood because I didn't move with a bunch of wood, but I think we can use this piece of plywood as sort of our bottom piece. Get a couple of our hold downs. Hold it down. I'm going to do that probably with the piece. I'm going to grab another piece of plywood, probably birch plywood. I'm going to hold that down with this. So, of course, this is the piece you're going to cut. This is the piece that's going to get the remnants of your cut so you don't damage your bench. So, anyway, got to keep those things in mind. You can just damage your bench if you want to, but I'd like my bench to last a little longer and not have extra holes in it that are not necessary. That in there. Now, I do talk about being a hand tool woodworker, but I'm not hand tool only. I do use some power tools occasionally, and I'm going to use a power tool for this. So I don't think I have a hand tool that will do this. Well, the same way. This is a cobalt drill. I've talked about this before, mainly in the Parthenon video, how to build the Parthenon. And there is a special connector piece that will attach this using a collar. So a little nut comes off. Let's use this one. Obviously, I have used 2 of these multiple times, and I haven't used that much at all. So set these to the side on my trusty rolling cart. Let's try that one. Since it has been used a fair amount, so it actually drops in from the top. It's got a special sized nut there that will fit through the hole. Can only go in one way. There we go. We have a restraining nut. Comes up from the bottom. So it's got a drill bit in the middle. That's what's going to help get into here, and it's going to go through here. Might actually go through more than that. It's going to go further than that. So this is not going to be enough. Let's put that in there. I'm going to need a thicker. And I could just get another piece of plywood to do that job. That's the thing. These things, they have that extra, a little more to them than want to get into those boards that are for puzzle box 6. So they're already cut. So let's try this. And you know, if I get a little damage in the bench, it's not the end of the world. Do what we have to do here. These are Festool hold downs. They're meant for other uses, but I like using them here at the bench because it really holds them down nicely. Okay, got this ready to go. Eye protection. Got to have my eye protection. You only got one set of eyes, and I'd like to keep them. Thank you very much. So let's. Not much juice in the battery, but it does get used for stuff. So I'm just gonna put it on drill. Find a spot. There it is. There's the hole. Hopefully we didn't go down too far. Down into the... Because I'm not taking it up quite yet. I would like to... Nope, they didn't get into the bench yet. That's good. So, now getting that thing out, not sure how that's going to happen. We'll take our restraining nut off. It comes off. That's a pretty good little... That is a pretty good little hole. It's a little rough around the edges because, I mean, it's plywood. If I did this out of poplar, it'd probably be a little cleaner. Because, of course, with plywood, you're dealing with the layers of the wood and the way they sit in there. Do this easily. Kind of, no, not easily, but a little gentle in how we get that off with the file. This is the primary wood file. So, in a nice little circle. And, not sure what the size that is, but let's say it's around, there's one I've already got. This is probably a 3, what is this? Oh, this is an 1/8 of an inch, that's going to be too small. I'll get something like this, brass one, I think. This is a 1/4 inch, and that will work. There we go. So you get the idea. Cut this off a certain point. Maybe you put something on here to hit against something on another gear. You know, again, experimentation, that's what it's all about. And so that gives us an idea of how we might be able to make some round stock with the center already drilled by your drill bit, and makes it so much easier. And so we'll see what we can do as we get further into Puzzle Box 5.